Wilson Morales from Black Women TV talking to India regarding Night Court. So, were you a fan of the original? Did you ever watch it?
I didn't. I lived in England. I'm British, so we didn't get it there. So I wasn't actually familiar with it until right before I tested for the show. My husband, however, is American and pretty quickly let me know about the legacy that I was approaching. And then when I got the job, he was so unbelievably excited that I would be on stage with Dan Fielding.
Mhm. So here we are, season two. Usually, when you're the first season of any show, and even though this is, it's coming back and so forth. So, like, but we're talking 40 years since the original. When you get a season two, everybody can now feel comfortable because now that shows that the network is confident about the show. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable playing this character?
I think I kind of knew who she was pretty out straight out of the gate, but I was a recast. I wasn't in the original pilot of the 2023 version. I came in and we reshot my scenes. So that I think in itself was a little bit nerve wracking, just because um, it's one of those things where you've got kind of 3 episodes to sort of test the water and make sure everybody's happy. And then once you make it past those 3 episodes, you can exhale. So once I got to that point, and I thought, I think I might be sticking around at least for the rest of this season. Seems like it's going okay. I slept a little better after that.
Mhm. And then, for those who haven't watched it, talk to me about this character you're playing, and does she have funny bones?
I think she has unintentionally funny bones. I don't know if she is aware and or realizes just quite how ridiculous some of her behavior is, which in turn is what I find funny about her. Um, she's not a very self-aware person when it comes to considering how her actions might be interpreted by others, which gives me a lot of freedom to do a lot of ridiculous stuff, which I am more than happy to do.
Mhm. Then you have a cast, but obviously the main guy is John Larroquette. He obviously bridges the old with the new. So like, what's that feeling like when you first met him and you're acting opposite him, knowing that hey, you say that I'm on Night Court and you say it's John Larroquette, everybody's gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but getting to work with Melissa Rauch and John Larroquette on the daily is a masterclass. The two of them are such multicam legends. And also, at this point, at the same time, I have to catch myself sometimes because after 2 seasons, and we're almost at the close of the second, these people are part of my family now. So I don't see, having not never seen the original show prior to being on the show, when I binged watched it before I tested so I could get a feel for the show. um Being with John and Melissa now without that context just sort of feels very normal. And then I'll have those moments where somebody will come and watch the show and they'll be an audience member and they're so excited when John comes out or Melissa comes out, and then I step backwards and out of myself and realize just how fortunate I am to be working with these incredible actors.
When you work on a show and it's 2 seasons, different writers, different directors, what are you getting skill set wise as an actress as you continue to do more episodes that you can take along with you for whatever project you may do next, whether it's on a hiatus or something else?
I think for me, I've always loved comedy and maybe a little too much. Maybe I get a bit too excited about it. I've done a lot of 1 hour shows in the span of my career. Um, but in 21 years, I've always kind of been waiting to get into that multicam lifestyle. And I've sat back, observed the arc of the character, observed my work, picked it apart, put it back together, tried to figure out how to be better and how to grow, and what I didn't like so much about the way I might have done things in season one, and what could I change and how could I adjust in season two. Um, I think the biggest thing I've learned is that I probably won't watch myself anymore. But I just want to do Night Court justice.
Mhm.
Uh, Forgive the pun.
And before I let you go, obviously, for those who are catching up, because I always say there's a lot of product out there, whether it's TV, streaming, cable. If we go to the movie theaters, there's a lot of content, which is great. People get jobs, but then now it's working on the marketing. You got to
Yeah.
let people know when it comes on and to continue to watch it. What do you tell people now in terms of why they should watch Night Court?
I think that there's really not that many shows on television right now that you can watch with your whole family. And that is something we are. Also, I think in the current climate, when there is so much happening in the world, I've been on shows where our job was to discuss those topics. And I've been on shows where our job was to give someone somewhere to escape. And I do feel that Night Court is in the escape side of things. So you can sit with us each week, you can hang out, you can laugh, you can watch with your family, you can escape, and you can forget about the greater weight while you get to fall in love with this kind of crazy group of misfits. And there's something lovely about having a constant like that available to you in 2024.
Well said. And that's how we end it. It's good talking to you. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing more episodes before the season ends.
Thanks,
Take
Will.
care.
Take care.
Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV, Nyambi Nyambi, always working. That brother, that line that goes, he knows how to keep a job and stay a job and get a job. And that's you. You know?
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Obviously from your last job that we saw you on The Good Fight to here, you're able to switch from drama to comedy, so like what went into taking on this project?
You know, I got a phone call. They said, "Hey, there's a role that we would love for you to take a look at and see if you're interested in playing." And I love Melissa Rauch, because when I was on Mike and Molly, she was on The Big Bang Theory, and literally our stages were right next to each other, and we would park our cars, meet in the middle, and just have a conversation and be like, "All right, see you later," and never knew that we'd have an opportunity to play, on such an iconic show. And the fact that it was Night Court, I grew up, loving the show, and it was a great chance to play someone different from what I played, on Mike and Molly, and then of course on The Good Fight.
But you're still playing a clerk, in law
No, I was an
enforcement.
investigator. I was an investigator. See, I was an investigator. I was an
You're like
investigator.
the past knows so much cross somewhat in there.
That's
But
right. That's
anyway.
right. Yeah, I wasn't in the courtroom that often. Remember, yeah, I'm out there trying to get the things that they need, whatever, and be like, "All right, here you go, and I'll see y'all later. I'm peace." But here in that courtroom, I command the courtroom, right? I'm the one that puts everything together, organizes everything, makes sure that everything runs on time, all the details of each docket, each case. It's me, so it's very different, very very different.
Night Court, the original, came at a time when there wasn't much cable out there. So at
Mm.
some point, you had no choice in the way to watch it. When you was, oh, I never watched it. It's like, we only had 3 channels back then.
Right. That's right.
Let's keep it real. So like, John is obviously the conduit between the old and the new. What's
Mhm.
that dynamic like when you're working with him?
John, man, John's incredible, by the way. I had a chance to watch all 9 seasons right before before I stepped in, and getting a chance to refresh the nostalgia that I had for the original show. Because for me, when I was growing up watching the show, I was such a huge fan of Marshall Warfield, right? So then my whole thing has been about the bailiffs, but then getting a chance to watch the show again. John was genius on that original show, and then to be in front of him watching the genius at work and seeing how he has changed the character in a way that makes sense, and how playful he is, and how each take he does something different. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to play with. It's fun it's fun to try to make him laugh. It's been great.
Having worked on a number of series throughout the years, you've had your chance to work with different directors and different writers.
Mhm.
How has that made you evolve as an actor, especially when you're on this show and they're shooting it multicam?
Yeah, what's been great. I've had the blessing to have worked with some amazing actors and directors. Uh, you know, I mean, working with Melissa McCarthy and Billy Ardell, Reno Wilson, Katie Mixon, Swoosie Kurtz, I mean, incredible actors on Mike and Molly. Then getting a chance to, work with Christine Baranski, Audra McDonald, Delroy Lindo, and then later on Andre Braugher, Sarah Steele, Chris Jumbo. I'm about to name everybody, but like so many incredible artists and actors. And what I've learned is listening, being able to listen and not feel like I have to do so much heavy lifting, because a lot of times what you need is right there in front of you. So it's actually made my time on this show so much easier, even though the circumstances have been like chaotic in terms of we're just flying, it's like, all right, there's just so many things being thrown at you. But having worked with all those people, my ability to listen and find what's my instrument in this show and let's play it well. Not only play it, but play it well. It's been great.
From Mike and Molly to this one, did the funny bones come back?
The funny bones. Yeah, always. The funny bone never left. The funny bone never left. Like for me, like I'm always, and they'll tell you, I mean, like I'm never really serious. I'm always joking. So the chance to get back on a sitcom to play and literally just say the things I'm always thinking, and do the things I'm always thinking because they're always something that I find funny. It's a joy, In some ways, the Kings on The Good Fight wanted me to do that too. But that's a character that did a lot of listening, and then this was one that does a lot of calling out of things like that doesn't make sense, So yeah, it's fun. The funny bone never left. Come on now, come on.
So when I think about actors that have been on TV for a long time,
Yeah.
Andre Braugher, Wendell Pierce, you're
Yeah.
up there right there. Like every 2 minutes, you're somewhere on TV. You know what I'm saying? Whether they
Yeah.
repeat it or it's something new. So congrats on this role. Congrats on the series. Keep staying around. You working gives me work. Obviously, we got more episodes to go before the season ends. We'll talk down the road.
I appreciate you, Wilson, for all the work you do, because I follow everything you do. You know that, and I really love the work that you do. So thank you.
Wilson Morale from Black Women TV. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Wilson?
Good. Obviously, there's a difference between Night Court back in the 80s and Night Court now. It's not like you say, I saw it then. It's like, no, that was a long time ago. But when you got this role, did you have to go back? And, not that it's the same thing, but did you want to go back to see what the dynamic was, which is what made that show what it was?
Yeah. Well, it was already with me. I mean, I probably hadn't watched it on a regular since high school, but I already had a good understanding because it was something that I was watching from like the age of maybe 8 all the way through high school. But I wanted to kind of brush up and see dynamics with other characters. I watched a lot of episodes with Dan and Roz together. It's a really tender moments. There's one where she teaches him how to ballroom dance. There's another where her blood sugar drops and he talks her off the ledge. And so I wanted to see those things that we didn't see on a regular basis. But otherwise, because I had a strong sense of the show, I also had to establish myself as a new character. So I didn't want to be so informed that I couldn't be original and authentic. And it's a nice marrying here that we have a strong foundation of what Night Court was, and now what it continues to be. And I appreciate us for working hard for that.
How would you best describe your character? And do you bring in your own funny bones?
I think it's definitely filtered through my funny bones, whatever that is. I just choose to be a vessel. I approach a lot of my roles that way. And there are times where I surprise myself and I want to keep it that way. Like I don't want Lacretta to comment so much on Gergs. I want Gergs to have her own voice. And so far, I think I've been able to accomplish that by, knowing her so well and understanding the script that's in front of me, and then studying it enough to know what the foundation and the format is, and then just opening my mouth and seeing what comes out and hoping for the best, because I've got great leadership and great directors.
And then there's John. Obviously, he is the conduit between the old and the new. but he brings in the new right now for for those who have not caught up.
Yes.
What's that dynamic like when you see him on there and you're like, okay, everybody knows who he is, because had he not been on the show, I wouldn't say it'd be a tougher sell. You still would have the title, but he brings in the old, so people can get an idea, and that the form of the show is the same but not the same.
Correct. It's a masterclass, because he's known Dan Fielding for 30 some odd years, and he, again, like, I feel like he opens his mouth and Dan steps forth, and that's a beautiful thing to behold.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the rest of the cast. Not everybody's a familiar face, but you get to know these people. TV is where you get that medium where, like, okay, it's not like a movie where if you don't see it, you don't know it. With this one, you got plenty of weeks, because it's weekly, that people get a chance to know who's who and get to familiarize with those characters. So how was it with the rest of the cast?
Oh, it's amazing. And what I love is that, when we cut, or if we've got a break and we'd have a couple of scenes off, that we still sit down and talk to each other. And that's nice, because then we see that translates into our work. It's not just, oh, we come in and then we clock out and then we go our separate ways. Like, we still hang out. And there have been times where I've been on other jobs where it wasn't like that. And it just made you have to work that much harder when you were doing scenes where you're comrades. Here, I definitely say that we are friends. Who's calling you?
I know, right? So then, skill set wise, when you work with different directors and obviously writers and so forth, what part of your skill set as an actress is being improved as you continue to do this, especially when you're being shot with multicam?
All of it. I've gotten better at memorizing. I've gotten better at being flexible. I've gotten better at being spontaneous. My timing, I definitely feel like it's improved. And then also, like, my listening skills, and just also dissecting your script that's in front of you has definitely gotten better. Like, I hadn't been doing stuff like that since grad school. And I've definitely in the past have just been learning my lines, going about my business, maybe doing some backstory for that character. But for this, because I'm just excited to learn more about her, I haven't commented on, well, where did she come from? Where did she live? What did she do? She's not here. Da, 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 da. No, I'm just like, okay, what's next? And then what happens? Oh my God. And then, the next day and we find out. And I love that. It's been an adventure.
And, before I let you go, I always say to the people, like, we've got a glut of product on TV, on cable, on streaming, whether you go to movie theaters or so forth. And so it's a matter of marketing the show so that people are aware of it. Even though it's a title, everybody's aware of it. It's a matter of, like, okay, am I going to sit down and watch this weekly? What do you tell people in terms of how and why they should be watching Night Court Down?
A lot of people that I've talked to have said, oh, I watched the show with my grandparent, or I watched the show with my mom, or I watched the show with my cousins. We would sit down and we would make dinner and we would watch the show together. So if you're looking for a way to bring your family together, if you're looking for a way to bring back that nostalgia, because your everyday today is going crazy because who knows what's going to happen politically and climately, then check in with us. I've had people write on my wall and say, I watched the show with my mom when I was little, and now my mom has dementia. And for that half hour, I have my mom back, because, the brain connects and she remembers, and they can have their time together for 23 minutes. And who wouldn't want that? So yeah, it's a special show. It is special, and it's taking you away from the pressure cooker that is life and giving you that escape.
But it's good talking to you. Obviously, season 2, we got more episodes to go. There's season 3, Job Security. Let's talk again. Take care.
Take care, Wilson. Bye.